from Black Alliance for Just Immigration, Devontae Jackson. Please give a round of applause for Devontae.
How y'all doing? Good, good. So I wanted to just frame why we're here today. Today is 9/11, and really from the perspective of Black Alliance for Just Immigration, we see that the state has really used the 9/11 attacks to criminalize Muslim communities, Black communities. There's a creation of the Department of Homeland Security 1 year after the 9/11 attacks, and really since 9/11 they've been using these attacks as a means to really criminalize and throw our communities under the bus. And today we're saying no, not more, not anymore. We're going to stop that today. And so also we're here not only on 9/11, we're here right across the street from the Alameda County Sheriff's Office. So the Alameda County Sheriff plays a major role in making Urban Shield happen. And so they send Oakland police departments and folks here in Alameda County to these programs year after year. Last year it was hosted in Oakland, and we got them to never host it again in Oakland. That's a victory. But militarism is still real in our communities, and people are dying every day, right? Every 28 hours there's a Black person, and that's even shorter this year. So today we're sending pressure to the Alameda County Sheriff's Office to tell them that we won't stand for militarism against our communities any longer. We're not going to stand for Urban Shield, and we demand Alameda County cut their participation in Urban Shield, and then we're going to be moving towards an overall national program to really stop Urban Shield. But it starts here in our local communities. We are here to say Alameda County will no longer participate in Urban Shield. So thank you all for joining us today.
Devontae was the mastermind that really helped us with the guerrilla theater piece. And he shared that part of this experience was really continuing to develop his leadership, because we know who needs to be in the leadership of the fight is Black and brown folks, our trans folks, our most marginalized and oppressed folks. And through that, we are going to organize, mobilize our forces to continue to stop not just Urban Shield, but policing and militarization in our countries. Up next, I have the privilege and honor to introduce to you, this person is really special to me. They have the same birthday as me, March 10. They are almost the same height as me. They also are an amazing, queer, good-looking person that always has a pen in the hair and, wakes up 5 in the morning to, be with their students and also fight in the streets. Please give it a warm welcome for Sagnite from Chicana Motoria!
How you guys doing? So as Irma said, my name is Sagnite Salazar, and I want to first give thanks to all my relations, and I want to give thanks to the first caretakers of this land, the Ohlone people. I want to thank them for their strength and resistance against the first military project of this land that came to break earth with concrete, that came ready and armed to commit genocide on our people, that came with weapons ready to attack our culture. But our strength as resistance, as indigenous people, is way too strong. Whether it's our northern native brothers and sisters or us southern natives, we are still here and we are still resisting this militarization project. And even though this militarization project is getting stronger and stronger, and they're getting fancier toys like DNA scanners and like military rifles that bombard not only our communities and our lands, but our hoods now, we continue this fight. And that's exactly why as Chicanas, as Native people, as indigenous people to this land that are being attacked not only by these weapons, but by these borders, we are here to fight Urban Shield. That is exactly why we are here to fight Urban Shield, because these weapons are creating borders that are hurting our land. These weapons are bringing in violence into our community, and I want to actually introduce the person who's here to speak for us today. Her name is Maria Calvillo, and she's actually one of our students who experienced firsthand the weapons coming into our community. And I'm not talking about a war zone. I'm talking about the war that they've created on our people, on black and brown people, on Native people. The latest report says that the two communities that are most deeply impacted by police terror are black folks and Native folks, who only make up less than 1% of the United States population, but make up 10% of the police terror victims. But our families are still strong and are still here, and we're still resistant, and our traditions and resistance is super strong. So we continue this work. So I want to invite this young resistor who is here to share the story of what happened to her family last year, and actually not even a year ago, less than a year ago. Maria Calvillo.
Hi, my name is Maria Calvillo. I'm 13 years old. Hi. And I came here to share my story about what happened like about 6 months ago. How my house had been raided by SWAT. I remember waking up to my mom being on the phone, and she's telling me, "Oh, you have to hurry up, put your shoes on." And I was scared at the moment because I didn't know what was happening. So I got up, listened to what they told me. I seen my dad get out the house. I followed him. When we got out the house, as soon as I hit the door, I opened it, and they started screaming at me, telling me to put my hands up. They was pointing rifles at me. And I look around, and it seemed like a movie. I couldn't believe it. It didn't seem real to me. So I just listened to what they told me, went to the front of the house, and that's where I look up and I see a big tank in front of the house. It was the worst thing that I could ever see that day. It was around 4:30 in the morning. They woke us up, we had to walk in. They were calling us out by what we were wearing. When they got to me, I opened the gate, I get out, and they told me go left to right. I listened. After that, they told me to walk across the street and around the corner. So a police officer was next to me. He still had his pistol with him next to me. I walked next to him. And after we stopped at the corner, he told me that we had to wait for my sister. And when I look back, I just see my sister talking to my mom, and I hear her telling her, "Mom, I don't feel good." All I hear her say is that she feels like fainting. My mom couldn't do anything at the moment because she had my baby sister, my 3-month-old baby sister. They told my sister same thing, to walk up, left, right. We both listened. She walked with me. After, we both looked back to see what my mom was doing, and we seen that they were searching the baby. And it got me mad because they were searching the baby like if we were gonna hide something with the baby. They had their pistols next to them, searching the baby. My mom couldn't do anything about it. She listened just like everyone else. They took it to the same place. They took us around the corner. And when they told us we were going to go somewhere else, they grabbed us and they took us.
She's 13 years old, y'all. She spent 4 hours, not only her family, but the entire building that she lives in, spent 4 hours in white unmarked vans for 4 hours handcuffed with their baby, without food, in the middle of the night. Because we are criminal by being brown. Because we are criminal by being in the hood. Because these trainings train not only police forces, but first responders as well. Train them that we are the enemy and they need to go to war on our people. And this 13-year-old young lady still walks out the house in trauma because she doesn't know if there's gonna be a tank waiting out her home. I asked her, what does she want to tell people? What does she want people to be left with today? And she wanted people to know that there is no safety in policing. That there is no safety when the people that are supposed to protect and serve, and we know long ago, historically, that they ain't never been here for that. Right. We know long ago that they're just taking up the jobs of the slaveholders. That's right. We know that long ago. But let's pretend for a second that they're here to protect and serve. There's no way we're gonna be protected with tanks, with rifles, with weaponry that they're bringing into our community, and this state, this mentality of war against our people. So we say no to Urban Shield. Y'all give Maria Calvillo one more round of applause.
How are y'all doing? I'm gonna start with a piece I spit last year during the Stop Urban Shield mobilization last year, and I'm super stoked to see so many beautiful faces from last year, this year as well. This is for that kid in Gaza searching for Superman, but sees Apache copters dropping bombs that shake the land. Whoa, damn, this shit preposterous. Open air prisons hit with clouds of white phosphorus. The rocket took his father, the shrapnel it hit his sister. Big brother became a martyr to fight off unwanted visitors. And you know where I stand. Resist, respect that shit and check your privilege, cause you ain't getting hit, and if you were, I'm sure that you would probably think the opposite. In fact, you know what, I'm pretty positive. Logic is safety should be most of y'all prerogative, but most of y'all are operatives to profit off this monolith. Damn, I guess we can't be cooperative. And in 1948, didn't hesitate to shoot, displaced most of our population time and time from their roots. Then they tried to hide the proof. Looks like 1492, different time, different place, the same white supremacist rule. Now I'm living in a land where the land see me as an enemy, no liberty. If you want to be, then I guarantee that the FBI got an eye on the people who they set to spy. House arrest, stop and frisk, fund occupation to the colleges. BDS, yes BDS, did they hit you with the claim you a terrorist? On the terror list, on the precipice, drone take out another nemesis. Weapons tested in the Gaza Strip, sold to our pigs and they copy it. What the fuck, seen every day, views on the news getting us played. We gotta mobilize, we gotta organize, and if one dies, then another 10 will rise. We about return and liberation, Turtle Island to Palestine and self-determination. We'll replant every tree, rebuild every home, and until we see that day, our resistance lives on. Thank you. Coordinator at the Arab Resource and Organizing Center, I want to read a statement from A-Rock. The Arab Resource and Organizing Center stands with all those black, brown, and trans lives who have fell victim to state-sponsored terrorism. And we are inspired by the courage of the rebellions in Ferguson and Baltimore have shown resilience on their ongoing resistance. Urban Shield has been in the Bay Area since 2007. It represents the massive militarization of the police. Each year, local, federal, and international agencies converge in Oakland to engage in trainings aimed at arming everyone, from health workers to Oakland Police Department, with tactics and weapons used by repressive governments and racist colonial apartheid states like the State of Israel. Each year, they sharpen their skills at better terrorizing our communities. Last year, A-Rock and the Stop Urban Shield Coalition organized to put pressure on the city of Oakland to demand that they stopped hosting Urban Shield. And we won. Right. This was a significant victory that built on a history of Oakland organizing against police and repression. But the work and struggle against policing and global repression continues. Surveillance, war, and repression has had a long history in all of our communities. And for Arab and Muslims, it is illustrated in our homelands, in the forced migration of places like the US, and the racial profiling here, and the attacks of our organizations for fighting back against racism.
Yep.
Excuse me. We have been increasingly racially and religiously profiled after 9/11. And we know the US government exploited 9/11 to justify military occupation in Afghanistan, in Iraq, and drone strikes in Pakistan, Yemen, and Somalia.
Yep.
They have strengthened their partnership with the colonial apartheid state of Israel and have developed a system of global policing and repression that impacts us all. What we are seeing in our cities today and what Urban Shield represents is in fact the result of Western imperialism from the days that this land was stolen from the indigenous peoples of the Americas. Israel is the largest producer of surveillance technology, and their weapons and technology are featured in the Urban Shield Expo. They have also sent several agencies to train and import their torture and surveillance tactics into the US. We all know that Israeli security forces regularly train US law enforcement. The objective of such partnerships is to bring Israeli practices of apartheid and racial segregation and militarization into our backyards. Because the interests of the US and Israel are one and the same, that is why the US supports and arms Israel to the teeth to continue its genocide against the Palestinian people. The sole purpose of Urban Shield is to justify occupation and militarization of black and brown communities and suppress social movements. Only our joint work together and cross-movement building will help stop this imperialist war machine. Today we are mirroring the acts of solidarity from Palestine to Ferguson and the history of struggles against global repression. Just like we won last year, we will win the fight and stop Urban Shield in order to fight for self-determination and dignity for all of our people. Justice for Andy Lopez, Oscar Grant, Sandra Bland, justice for Rasmia Ode, and all those fighting political repression and state violence. All part of the people, free Palestine.